My Astro Droid's LiFePO4 power migration needed one final piece: onboard charging. Now this MPPT module is the answer, and it almost burnt my hand, quite literally. Here's what happened and what I got wrong, and how to do it right. So a brief recap: ReXP1 is a half-size Astro Droid, a bit like R2-D2, with a very much distributed architecture with lots of Raspberry Pi Picos and Raspberry Pis indeed, and a ROS2 control system. And he has two batteries to drive him, and I can choose which battery is going to drive the electronics, or those Raspberry Pis and Picos, or the motors, the stepper motor and the drive motors. And I can switch them round, which means that I can actually control the depletion of the batteries. I can also get power in from USB to drive him or charge the batteries. So my approach to charging is going to be MPPT, maximum power point tracking. And I came across this reasonably priced module, which is a 12-volt LiFePO4 MPPT charger. It's primarily designed for solar power systems so that it can get the maximum amount of power from the sun into the batteries. And it does that using this CN3795 control chip that's doing all of these MPPT calculations. It's a 12-volt version that I've got, and in its configuration it comes off the shelf. It will charge up to 1 amp in capacity per hour. Now actually you can hack this to get it up to 3 amps, which is great because the batteries I've got will actually allow me to charge at 3 amps, which means I can charge them in 2 hours, or a little bit over 2 hours, but we'll come back to that in a bit. To do that, I need to replace this nasty little resistor here, and I need to basically replace that with a 0.03 ohm resistor. If I can do that, then we're golden and we have a 3 amp charger. Now that does mean it's going to get a little bit on the warm side, so I need to really put a heat sink on the device just to try and take off that heat, because we are getting a little warm. I was measuring sort of 80-90 degrees, which I think is a bit hot for electronics. My plan here was really to take 15 volts in, which I thought was nicely above the voltage need required by the battery, and go through this nice charger and output, and it sort of works like that, but I didn't really see it jumping into the 3 amps charge area, and my problem was I'm not giving it enough voltage. I upped the input voltage to 18 volts and suddenly the thing sprang to life and we're charging at 3 amps. Really cool. So that all seems to work really nicely. Now to tune the current that you're going into the battery, you can use the fine adjustment resistor there. So where am I going to get this 18 volts from? Well, actually I'm going to get it from USB, and I'm using USB-C PD. So I'm using the ability of the more expensive USB power blocks to actually provide different voltages. And I'm using a special PicoPD Pro from CentryLabs, which has all of the electronics on board to actually pull different voltages using the PPS or AVS system. Now I've talked about this before on another video when I actually reviewed this board, and I actually showed how we could actually pull different voltages. You can see them on the multimeter here. So that's enough to actually charge the batteries manually. But actually I want some automation in this. I want to know how far through the charge cycle we are and where we're up to. Now that becomes a little bit more complicated. So looking from the CN3795 charging spec, this is how it apparently charges. So it goes through 3 phases. So you've got a trickle charge if the battery is completely empty, so that it brings it up to a reference voltage. And that's apparently charging at 17.5% of the total current. Then we go up to a constant current charge, where we charge at 100% of the current available to us, so the 3 amps in my setup. And then when the battery really comes up to the proper voltage, then that starts to go into a constant voltage supply. So we provide that constant volt, I guess 18 volts, and then the current will actually keep decreasing till it drops to about 16% of the current, and at that point it all turns off and says the battery is full. So that's the cycle we would want to measure, and we're measuring it all really about current. Yes, I could look at volts, but actually the voltage monitoring in this is quite difficult. So I think it's what I want to do to understand where we're in that cycle is monitor the current. Now I can do that because I'm choosing to put INA 226s onto the charging board, and that gives me a voltage monitoring of up to 36 volts, either going through the shunt or indeed at the V-bus position. So I will measure that so that I know what the charging voltage is, and it can also charge the voltage current, and these modules can measure up to about 20 amps. Well, they sort of can measure up to 20 amps because you see this resistor on here that's already there, that means that the maximum current that the chip will saturate on and therefore not measure any further current is 0.8 amps, which is kind of a bit low for what we want to do here. What we actually want to measure is up to 4 amps, and to do that I need to change that resistor from a 0.1 ohm resistor to a 0.02 ohm resistor, and that should give me a range of up to 4 amps. So that's my plan to do that. That's going to give me this charge control board, which is going to sit alongside the rest of ReXP1's architecture. So this charge board will sit alongside the power control board that controls where power is going and whether the charge voltage is going, and that will give me the ability to run all of the power control and charging control for ReXP1 and for BpBO. So two of my droids are going to use exactly the same system. So this story has involved removing surface mount resistors and replacing them with different values. That has been fairly straightforward, with the normal challenge of logistics, getting hold of the right values. Once I gave this module the right voltage, it jumped into life and gave me 3 amp charging of my empty battery. Perfect. Unfortunately, I didn't read the spec for the diode I was using to prevent the battery back charging through and powering the board. So that smoked a bit. All fixed now though. In the next episode, I'll show you the control software and drop the full design files, so you can build this yourself. If this content is helping you, hit subscribe. Every sub gets BpBO one step closer to open source 2027. See you there.